I can't hear the music. Are we live?
Welcome, Angel, to Champagne and Conversations 2021. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
A little rushed, but I'm good.
Guys, this is Angel. This is our brand extraordinaire. She is joining us to top off the year with our reset, refresh, renew, and just sharing some of the great tips that she has used throughout 2020 and now the plan that she has for 2021, going into our graphic design, our branding. And of course, if you all want to reach out to her for any of your own information or own projects that you may have, you can certainly do that. She'll give you that information. So again, Angel, welcome to Champagne and Conversations 2021.
Thank you.
Yay. And just in theme of what you gave us on our cinematography for your introduction, I designed the same thing behind me here. I just couldn't stand and pour the champagne so it could just fall over, but it's in there. See, it's in there.
Yeah, it looks nice. You always do little nice setups. I like it.
So 2020 pandemic, as much as we don't want to go back and hash into that, but we will just for a bit. 2020, you were into weddings and you were doing like really big sessions for corporate clients and such, and then everything kind of stopped with that and you had to kind of pivot and figure out something to do. So it got us to the point of, okay, will you work with me on new ideas as it related to Champagne and Conversations, which is where we are today. So talk to us about, like, after you and I consulted about what we were going to do, just the transitions that you went through in developing Champagne and Conversations.
So initially, I think the first actual Champagne and Conversations we did was with Renee, and then we had Cherie and Silver Logan on.
Yeah, right? The ladies from Chic, yes.
Yeah, and so it was cool because when we first designed a flyer, I designed the flyer based on mocktails that you had that kind of went with the Champagne and Conversations.
Right.
And so it kind of, the pictures were nice because, I added the fog in the back of the whiskey glass, and I added color with blue because I always feel like a photographer is not a photographer unless they can paint with light. So that was fun, but then we got challenged with P. Frank came on the scene. And when he came on the scene, he was like, this is not industry standard. So, and I was like, well, I don't know exactly what he wants, but as he started to tell us what he wanted, because he was going to be on with Dougie Fresh, and I started to come up with something a little more creative. And so that's when I added the Cinematograph, where I put the record behind Dougie Fresh and had it spinning with one of his records. So taking a still image and causing it to move. And which was cool because actually P. Frank ended up challenging me to come up with something better than he, just a flyer with his picture on it. And I was like trying to up the ante
and that would be P. Frank from production. That's the reason why.
Yeah, for production.
So thank you.
Thank you. And I tried to up it more than he had asked for. So I'm like, I'm gonna get this picture to move. Yeah. And so I did that. And then next thing you know, I think Melba Moore was on next. Yeah, and then I had her dancing.
I was about to say, by then you were off and running because you had her dancing and her skirt was twirling.
And her skirt was flowing. Yeah, it was fun because one of the things that I love about photography is being challenged. So not just having uh, not just taking a picture and putting it in auto or depending on the light that's available to me, but
Right.
creating the light. So it just being challenged. And so it was challenging for me. Each one is like I had to come up with something better.
Well, we
And
will say cheers to you for the 2020. And I know, guys, she doesn't have her glass. She was moving light and what have you, but I'm going to toast to her anyway. And then by the time she gets it, then we'll do that.
yeah, forgive me because yeah,
Yes,
I was trying to get my hair done and do all
yes.
that fun stuff to make sure that I look good for the camera.
That's being in the production mode and then getting ready. So moving forward, you did an amazing job with all of the cinematography. Now you started with flyers, as you noted, and then you went into cinematography and being able to create that element of movement, element of color, contrast, and then obviously a big part of that was not only with your first development of having to incorporate champagne and conversations, which was what we were actually about. That was the part that Frank really didn't understand, was what we were doing as a conversation when wanting to add in his part. So once you were able to learn what we were doing and then adding in the clients that we were having conversations with, then I think that that began to blend more. And then you really got into what I like to refer to as the glow. And then from there, you took it into a whole another perspective, then infusing music, which is another love of mine. So not only were we infusing the client and the champagne part, we were also infusing the music. Now, was that a detailed part that you had to really look into, or was it relatively easy once you started
No,
to design it?
so I already have like a background in graphic designing. So it's been some years, probably about 15 years ago. And
Right.
I started there and moved on to photography. I kind of got shifted towards photography. But it's like when you already have like a artist in you, from a child, I've always, I used to draw. So it's kind of like you just kind of imagine things and then you figure out how to create it. So yeah, sometimes it was a little challenging, but with me, it's kind of, I want something. If I want something, I push to create that thing, no matter how long it's going to take. But as long as I think with me, as long as I know the tools
Sure.
of how to use Photoshop and Premiere, then I manipulate it to be able to work for me the way I want it to work for me.
So moving into 2021, what are some new, I mean, I know the programs are what they are, but just in terms of the insight, everything is becoming a digital wave now. Obviously, everything that we share, everything that we sell, we're speaking to those folks from, our desktops. We're speaking to them from our computers. How are you able to forecast what we are going to be working with in terms of sale, in terms of, just rolling out, like you stated, the cinematography? Do you have any insight on where we're going with that?
Okay, so as far as the, creating the cinematography, including video and movement and motion, is with me, I feel like, like kind of creating when I did the lady with the cigar and the smoke coming from her, it's coming up with something better than that, right? So it's always like I have to do something better than the last time, no matter what. So
So you challenge yourself, even
yeah,
even from the beginning, you've been doing that part.
yeah. So as long as my mind is still working,
You have your faculties about
as
you,
long as
yes.
it's still working, it's like, yeah, I challenge myself because things get kind of boring to me if I'm not creating something better. And the other thing that I really like is trying to make it more personal for the person that's actually going to be on the conversation, where it kind of relates to them. it's their vibe. And then when they see it and they're like, wow, that's nice, so it feels good because I want them to be able to say, oh, that's me,
Yeah.
versus, oh, that's like every other flyer, or, it's nothing different about that.
So obviously originality, you're going to allow for everyone to have their own, kind of identity, basically. So even though you're incorporating it in Champagne and Conversations, the insert or the fusion, if you will, is still allowing for them to have their part. And that's
Right.
really cool. We do get really excited about what we do, and obviously adding in the music, the movements, bringing on the amazing clients that we had, because we had a great 2020, and we're excited about even those folks that we have refreshing and renewing for 2021. Now, I know that you mentioned at the top of the conversation that lighting is essential in just your photography, but lighting has become essential in what we're doing from this perspective as well,
Right.
with, all of the lives and, Zoom conversations and such. So talk to us a little bit about just the lighting. I know you can
Okay.
go all over with
So
this.
so even now I'm kind of embarrassed because I should have had my lighting set up and ready, especially had some, backlight as well. I could have turned that Christmas tree on that I still have up. But it's
We will
crazy.
assume that was because you're working too much. You haven't had
The Christmas tree is because it went up on Christmas Eve. So with it going up on Christmas Eve, we still have to have time to actually
I
enjoy
see.
it. So I got an
So
excuse.
how long is that staying up, ma'am?
I don't know, maybe March. No, I'm just, I'm just
Like,
joking.
is that a closet? Is it going in the closet? Oh my gosh. So
It's actually, this is the entertainment room. So there's a fireplace back there and everything. You just can't see it. But so it's kind of long. So it's a big screen TV over here. And
okay,
then,
so for the lighting part of it, do you have overhead light in that particular room?
it's,
Okay.
I need to, I have a light right here, and it's crazy because I put new lights in the other room, and this light is too dim. And I do feel like that I need to put something better. But for me to be where I say that photographers need to know how to paint with light, this right here is not good, because I should have some rim light or something going on behind me where, it's not going into the shadows. But, yeah, but lighting is really, really important, for also for me. Just, especially when it comes to your face and making sure like your face is glowing. So that's good, so
That would be the goal, guys.
yeah, so the light looks good. And so,
Well, at least you taught me what to do,
yeah,
in terms of the lights. Now, we've had to play with the lights. You all know, if you look back at Champagne and Conversations in all of 2020, we've played with the lights because, typically I'm wearing hats a lot, which is creating a shadow, as you said. So you've given me pointers on how to angle light, cover light, so it's not just white light. I've had to blend an amber overhead light with the actual white light, angle that with the shade. So you've given me, I guess, a couple of different strategies with the lighting.
yeah,
So
I think so one of the best things with lighting, especially with a woman, is having a soft box and not having, direct light hitting her face, because then it's direct light is going to make those little hot spots all over your face. And then if you're putting it at an angle, then it's going to create shadow on the other side of the face. So it's kind of like making sure that it's in front of you, but with a softbox or a beauty dish, something where the light is going around it rather than creating all these spots, but, making you still look beautiful, because some light is so harsh that it starts to show everything in your face.
right.
And you got shadows going through here, so it makes it look like your face is harsh when it really isn't.
So
So
the best way is to keep the light in front of, i.e., a camera, in front of, i.e., a computer, something of the sort. So it's supposed
yeah,
to be like on this side.
yeah, for this situation, yeah. For other situations, it would be different. Like if I was photographing something, I may have to change my whole light setup, determining on the factor of available light, the light that's available, and circumstantial,
Natural or otherwise?
that natural light,
Mhm.
circumstantial light, available light, all of those things take in account. And then you decide based on the available light, what kind of lights do I need to bring in and what
Sure.
am I trying to create?
Yes. So I guess ideally what for a regular day, if you're on a computer and you're having to constantly do the Zoom, do you recommend, obviously you say the beauty box, so that could be what they consider the glow light or something of the
Mm.
sort. It's
Well,
mostly
the
the easiest
beauty
one.
dish actually has it's a little metal piece in front of in the middle of it. So what it does is kind of like the rim lights. It
Okay.
creates the rim light, so it goes around it, where the light is kind of coming around versus creating just like a hot spot here, a hot spot, because the flash inside of it has a little square, and sometimes that flash can create like a little hot spot right there. And
Okay.
so but but having something over it, I don't care if you don't have, a soft box, and you don't want to burn down the house or anything, but you can try to figure out how you can create a distance and put like a sheet over it or something like that, because that sheet,
Yeah, don't burn the house down putting the sheet
yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah, just
But the sheet does what to the light? If you have just
it's
a regular light bulb and you put a sheet over it, not for a long period
okay.
of time, but
So it's kind of like, how you might have a light on your desk, right? If you took that lampshade off, what is that light going to do? It's going to hit straight up and just create a spot, right?
Mhm.
So when I put the shade on, the shade makes it spread.
Right.
So it creates a spread, but it's only going to spread within that diaphragm, or, within that lampshade. So that's why you would see the light kind of going down on the desk, because it's kind of moving down, but then it's creating a soft light that's coming around. But the distance from that light is because it's just a small light source. That particular small light source is not going to create a long distance of light. So that's why, sometimes we want overhead lights so we can have, a lot of light, or the light is bouncing off the ceiling to create more light. But the only thing about overhead light, it'll create shadow, right? So it comes down and it'll create shadow right here and shadow right here.
And the
So
best way to deal with that is to add more light to your
yeah,
side.
add more light
Yes.
to the scene. So like
Yes.
with this scene that I have right
And
now,
after dark going on.
yeah, I have an after dark going on. So
That,
I really,
that's for her later conversations, guys. We don't
yeah,
know about that part.
I have a wand light, but the wand light should honestly be turned this way.
Okay.
But because I didn't have time to go to my trunk to get my equipment, I'm tying things and utilizing whatever I
Well, we
have.
appreciate you taking a few moments to run in and have a conversation with us. And basically why I had you on was to, one, tell you thank you so much for all that you did in 2020 and creating such the images that you did. It was amazing. We got so many likes and love from what you did. And we're excited about looking into 2021 to see what you can actually produce. Because as you stated, as much as it was something new to you, it stretched you and has given you obviously other opportunities as it relates to clients, which is great. And being able to connect with new people and do some projects that, they may have needed. So thank you so much for it. And thank you so much for being innovative and willing to want to learn new things and create new things. So as you look into what what we have going on in 2021, any new ideas that we're doing with Champagne and Conversations?
Okay, so I do have some new ideas when it comes to champagne and conversations. Um, I think, one of the things is me trying to incorporate more video as well. And then along with the video, creating more cinemagraphs that that have not just the, because I do certain, every one of them I've done something different. I know we started the glow, right? And with the
It's
glow,
important.
yeah, and the glow is, I actually created that logo. I know you sent me, you started off with sending me a picture of an idea that you wanted. And
Yeah.
I took that idea and I pulled that idea and then I started to create the logo the way I wanted it,
Right.
where to create the glow on it, but also I created my own color for it. Because the color that the color that I had designed for it, I had to mix some colors to create that color.
Not only did you create it, you created a color that not even the printer has. So
Yeah,
that was,
but that's the,
we,
yeah, and
we
that's
had to
the
go
print,
blend something different.
yeah. So that's the printing company is very like, it's so important to go with a professional photo lab where they have a large color gamut, right? So you go to Walmart, you go to Sam's Club, they're only gonna have, it's like maybe having a 20 crayon box, right? Versus getting a 200 crayon box. So they can't manipulate the colors. So you want to go with a professional photo lab that's able to, any color that I come up with, it will look just like that color.
And
So
what she's speaking of is that we did not go to Sam's Club and Walmart, no
no,
disrespect
oh
to
no,
those
we did
places.
it. No, we did.
However, we were abroad doing this and their tech services are what have you. So we just had to kind of improvise. But anyway, yes,
Right, right.
we do have the colors. My point was that you mix colors that some of them were not familiar with.
And so that's the thing, is that the reason why I like Photoshop and I like Premiere is because there's so many ways to do things. And I don't like, I don't like constraints. I don't like anything that's going to stop me from, if I have an idea, that it's going to put a roadblock in the way for me being able to do it. So when people tell me about iMovie, or I go with, I use this program, Pixel or whatever, these different programs that they're using, they're very limited in what they can do.
Right.
So yes, Photoshop is a more challenging interface or program. It's a more challenging program, as well as Premiere is more challenging. And some people only utilize it for a small part of it. Like they've learned a couple of tools, they're okay with it. They go in there, they do what they do. But I utilize every single tool in there. And so for me, it's like, in order for me to design or create something, I have the tools. I have to just be able to manipulate the tools to do but the fact is, I have the ability to do it. And that's what I like about the programs, is because the ability is there. The challenge is me trying to figure out how to do it.
Any new programs on now? Obviously, as we talked about before, when we began, you were looking into other things that could create more movement or allowing you to do your favorite layering, any of that, or are you pretty satisfied with the programs that you have currently?
Oh, I'm definitely satisfied with Adobe. I know some people use like Final Cut, which Apple has that, but I'm satisfied with Adobe products because they're always updating. They're always coming up with something new, and they're always coming up with something more innovative. Even when it comes to, cameras like Nikon and Canon, and Sony is coming right. Is pretty much neck and neck now,
Right.
because of the mirrorless. But it's like they're always challenging themselves to come up with something better that can work better in low lighting, or in a situation with programs, they're looking for easier ways to be able to do things rather than taking 5 to 10 steps to do something. They try to, basically what they're doing is kind of creating an action. And I do that too. I create actions, like when I come up with something and I noticed that I took 10 steps to do something, I go back and I redo those 10 steps and I create an action. So when I create that action, I can go back and just press a button and then have it do it. So when my computer got messed up and I had to get a new computer, all my actions were gone. So I had to, it's like going back and trying to remember how I created these things and then making the action for it. So
the old people would have said, make a notebook. You're supposed to have a notebook so that you can
right.
we rely on our phones too much.
Yeah, I rely on technology too much. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and that's what they say. When it shuts down, you got to have a file. You got to have a notebook.
Right.
So with that being said, as it relates to all of the different systems that you're using for, have you created any apps of your own? Are you looking to do any of that development?
I've thought about that. I've took computer programming years ago, and I've actually took some web courses as well, when HTML was out and JavaScript. I mean, Java is still out.
Now you're telling your age.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Now you're telling your age.
I mean, I could go back to programming when COBOL was out. I was doing all of that stuff. But
that's okay.
Yeah, but I've thought about it. I'm not sure because it is, with programming, there's a lot of coding that's involved, and I'm not sure about that.
Well, we have a coder. We have one just in case you need
that.
But just to kind of bring it into perspective, please share your information so that if in fact anyone is interested in contacting you, share your social media, your website, how they can actually reach out to you for products and services that they may need.
Well, before I do that, I just wanted to mention one thing. I do plan on doing something. I plan on teaching classes soon. So that's something that will be coming up, where I will start teaching Photoshop, Lightroom, photography, initially, starting on the Zoom platform, but eventually I want to get my own studio space to be able to have, when all this COVID,
I was gonna say, once COVID,
once all this COVID stuff ends, where we can be in a setting with each other. So those are some of my things that I do plan on doing. And as far as finding me, is Angel Expressions. Everything is Angel Expressions. So angelexpressions.photography for my website, Angel Expressions for IG, Facebook. I don't really use my Twitter, but I have it. I probably need to close it out. I have Pinterest.
Or just use it.
Yeah, or use it. Yeah, or create a new one or whatever, because the content is so old, and so I probably should create a new one. But but as far as the social media platforms like IG and Facebook, I'm more active on there versus some of the other platforms.
Good. So yes, and I guess in this case, you are as you're planning to do your classes, you're looking to do that when, in I guess the spring, summer, when are you kind of looking to roll out your classes?
So initially, I'm gonna start off like this. I don't want to come out with a date, but it will be soon. But I'm gonna start by testing video, and being able to video and doing screen record and put it together. And once I've mastered that part of it, then and putting the videos together, it should, I'm thinking a few months,
Okay. Well, that'll be good. So then obviously, if we're still in this situation, then 3 or 4 more months, then anyone that wants to get some information on how to do cinematography or to do some sort of layout for even your logos, because you have designed several logos for not only myself, but for you and then some other clients. So you are offering the logos design as well as
the logo that was just created for the glow. Or you're not ready?
They will
You're
see
not
it in
ready?
time.
Okay, okay, you're not ready. Okay, that's fine. But
We will see it in time.
it's actually hot. It's really nice. So,
All of them are. And I didn't know which logo you were going to speak of, but I just kind of, yes, we have logos that are coming. We have products that are coming. So in time, we will have that. But yes, in terms of services though, please feel free to, reach out to Angel as it relates to the flyers that she mentions, which is now called cinematography, as well as logo design, brand development packages, so on and so forth. And like I said, I am excited because when she first started in this, it was more so, I do photography and it's a pandemic and I don't know what am I going to do. And I have all these weddings planned. And
oh
she
yeah,
was,
that was crazy because I had
yes,
a whole lot of weddings canceled. So I did take a hit along with a whole lot of other photographers where
yeah,
we had to refund money, and we're not
yeah,
talking about a little bit of change. We talking
yes,
about $6,000 for a wedding,
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
But
but from that, the beauty of it is you were able to wrap a rose around it, and
right.
even with that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
and yeah,
God has a way of, and I can't leave God out of the equation in my conversation because he has a way of presenting opportunities for you,
sure,
so you
sure.
can still be able to survive. And so at that time,
Or excel to the next
yeah,
level.
and
Mhm.
excel because God does open doors, and sometimes they're long term and sometimes they're for a season. But I'm thankful because he always seems to make a way when I'm unsure of what do I do next.
Yeah, and it wasn't just you, trust. It's so many others that are probably viewing now as well and saying, yeah, that was too myself. But as
Right.
we got through it, we got through 2020. We are here at the top of 2021, and we are excited about the opportunities that are coming. You've actually been able to access some new clients and get some things out to some clients that we're excited about what you've done and great reviews. So I am excited for you about all of the things that you have going on, even when you did
Right.
not anticipate it. And we'll take it all the way back to Frank. We'll make certain that we send him a text later to say,
Right.
thank you for challenging her because she just stretched herself. And then here we are. Um,
Right.
yes. Thank you, Angel, for joining Champagne and Conversations. We so appreciate, and we're certain that we'll see you again. Obviously, this is just the
Yeah,
top of the
of
year.
course.
Yes, we'll see you again. And
Yes.
again, please give your information one additional time so anyone that needs to get it, they can have that to contact you.
Okay, so I do have a Google presence. So if you look up Angel Expressions, you'll be able to find me. So, but it's angelexpressions.photography for my website, and every other platform, Instagram, Facebook, is Angel Expressions.
Awesome. Thank you for joining Champagne and Conversations, Angel Expressions, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.